Hey Met fans, Brian here, and this is the Mets Mayhem Recap Show. The Mets and Cubs begin their three-game series at Citi Field on Friday evening. The Mets are 24-14. They're coming off of an off day on Thursday after winning Wednesday's game against the Diamondbacks 2-1. The Mets took 2 out of 3 in that series. Meanwhile, the Chicago Cubs come to Citi Field, the NL Central leader, at 22-16, 3 games up on the second-place St. Louis Cardinals. Clay Holmes, looking to pick up his 5th win of the season, is taking the mound for the Mets, going up against Jameson Taillon, who's 2-1 of the season. Some interesting things of note with the lineup for this game. Brandon Nimmo's back in left field, with Jeff McNeil serving as the DH. Francisco Alvarez is back behind the plate, but the interesting part is he's moved up in the order. He's batting 5th. And Luis Angel Acuna and Brett Baty got the starts again at 2nd and 3rd, with Vientos getting another day off. As always, thank you for taking the time out of your day in advance to watch this video. If you want to support the channel, I would appreciate you liking the video and subscribing. But for now, we have Mets Cubs, game 1 of a 3-game series at Citi Field. Let's get into it. Ian Happ playing left field, leading off the game for the Chicago Cubs, going up against Clay Holmes. And Holmes gets ahead of him with a first pitch sinker taken for a strike. Then he gets ahead of Happ, 2 balls, 2 strikes, getting him to strike out, swinging and missing at a sinker down in the zone for the first out. That brings up Kyle Tucker. Holmes gets ahead of him 2-2. He throws him a changeup. Tucker check swings, taps to the left side, the right side of the mound. Holmes lets it go. Lindor's charging, comes in, barehands it, throws him out for the second out. Fantastic play by Lindor. Day in and day out, we're seeing, greatness. I can't say this enough. Francisco Lindor is a great player. He's going to be a future Hall of Fame player. It's just amazing to watch him. Appreciate, what we have in him. That brings up Seiya Suzuki. 2 outs, no one on. Holmes falls behind him, 2 balls, no strikes. Then he goes up and in on him with a sinker, and he gets him to ground out to Lindor at short. Fires over to Alonso, and that's the 3rd out. Francisco Lindor leading off for the Mets in the bottom of the 1st inning against Jameson Taillon. And he fouls off the first pitch he sees, and then he takes a curveball for a strike. So now he's behind 0-2. Jameson Taillon comes down and in for fastball, and Lindor takes it up and away, and out, over the right field fence. Leadoff home run for Francisco Lindor, 4th time this season, 8th home run of the year. Mets jump out to an early 1-0 lead. Now that brings up Juan Soto. Soto works the count to 2 balls, 2 strikes, but he swings over a changeup that drops out of the zone, and he strikes out for the first out. Brings up Pete Alonso. No one on, 1 out. He gets ahead of the count, 2-1, but he grounds a sinker to Nico Hoerner at second base, who tosses over to Michael Busch at first, and that's the 2nd out. Brings up Brandon Nimmo. 2 outs, no one on. Nimmo works the count to 2-2. He fouls off 3 pitches, and then he gets an 86-mile-an-hour cut on the outside corner, and he grounds it through the infield into left field. Base hit for Nimmo. Runner at first, 2 outs. Francisco Alvarez, who's batting 5th in this lineup. He works the count to 2-2, but he strikes out chasing a sweeper out of the zone, off the plate, and that ends the 1st inning. Clay Holmes on the mound, top of the 2nd inning. He's pitching with a 1-0 lead now. He faces Michael Busch leading off for the Cubs. Busch works the count full, and then he grounds a sinker to Acuna at second, tosses to Alonso, 1 away. Brings up the catcher, Carson Kelly. He immediately falls behind, no balls, 2 strikes. He fouls back 2 pitches. And then Holmes gets him to swing and miss on an 84-mile-an-hour slider, striking out for the 2nd out. That brings up former Mets prospect Pete Crow Armstrong. The Cubs acquired him in the Javi Baez deal. He's been off to a nice start. He's batting over 260, 9 home runs, driving in 27 RBIs. He's stolen 12 bases, playing some pretty good defense in the outfield. Just want to remind Met fans, for every Pete Crow Armstrong there's a Fernando Martinez, or more recently, Jarred Kelenic. Anyway, back to the game. Pete Crow Armstrong now up. He gets ahead of the count, 3-1. Holmes walks him. So now the Cubs have a runner on first, 2 outs. Nico Hoerner up. Hoerner goes up in the count, 2 balls, 1 strike. Pete Crow Armstrong gets a good jump off first. He's stealing second. Alvarez fouls a missile to Acuna, positioned perfectly. Makes the catch, makes the tag. That's the 3rd out of the inning. So Brett Baty leading off the bottom of the 2nd inning. He falls behind 1 ball, 2 strikes. Jameson Taillon leads a sinker up and away, and Beatty takes it away. Far away, over the left center field fence. Home run, Brett Beatty, second home run of the year. The Mets now have a 2-0 lead. Brings up Luis Angel Acuna. Taillon gets ahead of him, 1 ball, 2 strikes as well. But he pulls a sweep on the outside, down to Dansby Swanson at short, throws over to Michael Busch at first, 1 away. Jeff McNeil, serving as a DH, is up next, 1 out, and he jumps on the first pitch he sees, a 91-mile-an-hour fastball, sitting on a tee in the middle of the plate, pulls it down the right field line, over the fence. Jeff McNeil's second home run of the season, 3-0 Mets now. Tyrone Taylor up. Taillon gets ahead, 1 ball, 2 strikes, but he leaves a fastball up, and Taylor hits a ground ball up the middle. Off of Taillon, deflects towards first base, and Taylor gets a base hit. Brings up Francisco Lindor, this time to a new walk-up song, Ain't No Mountain High Enough, instead of My Girl, and that 0-2 curveball wasn't high enough. Lindor swings over it, striking out for the second out. Taylor was running on the pitch. He stole second without a throw, standing. 2 outs, Soto up, count goes full. He lines a curveball on the outside half of the plate towards left. Hap goes back, he leaps, and he makes the catch for the third out. Nico Hoerner leading off for the Cubs against Clay Holmes in the top of the third inning. He falls behind, no balls, 2 strikes. Then he pulls an inside changeup on the ground to the left side. Beatty dives. He's not able to come up with it. The ball deflects off of his glove, goes into left field. Nimmo gets to it quickly, though, and keeps Hoerner at first to a single. Brings up Dansby Swanson, runner at first, no one out. He takes a first pitch strike, up and in. Then he hits a sinker, down and in, to Lindor at short. Tosses over to Acuna at second. Fires over to Alonso, 6-4-3 double play. This is something that we're going to see hopefully for years to come. Lindor to Acuna to Alonso. 2 outs. Brings up the third baseman, Nicky Lopez. He works the count full. Draws a walk. The Cubs now turn over their lineup. Ian Happ is now up again. Runner at first. 2 outs. He works the count to 2 balls, 2 strikes. And he lines a down and away changeup right to Nimmo on left for the third out. Pete Alonso leading off the bottom of the third inning against Jameson Taillon. Alonso works the count to 2 balls, 2 strikes, and he swings at a sweeper down and away off the plate, pulls it on the ground to Swanson at short, who fires across to Michael Busch at first, 1 away. Pete should have left that pitch alone. Sweepers and sliders down and away. That's pretty much what the book was on him to get him out in the past. So a bad at-bat for Pete, but the frequency, or should I say the infrequency of that happening this season is what has led to him being off to the great start that he's been on. Brandon Nimmo's now up. Nimmo works the count to 3 balls, 1 strike, draws a walk, brings up Francisco Alvarez, and Taillon leads a 2-1 sinker up on the inner half of the plate. Alvarez grounds it right up the middle. Hoerner ranges over to his right. He dives behind second, isn't able to come up with it. Now, I'm not sure if he would have been able to get Alvarez at first. That would have been his only play because Nimmo was already at second base at that point. So the Mets have runners on first and second. 1 out. Brett Beatty now up. Beatty falls behind the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes. He gets a changeup down and away off the plate. He reaches for it, puts it in play. Nothing hard. Soft ground ball towards shortstop. But Swansby wasn't playing shortstop. Swansby was shifted up the middle by second base. Nicky Lopez was pretty much playing normal at third base. So Beatty grounds his ball right to where the shortstop should be. Lopez was unable to get it. Swansby ranges over from second. He isn't able to make a play. Infield hit for Beatty. Bases loaded. 1 out. Brings up Luis Angel Acuna. And he grounds an 0-1 down and away cutter up the middle. Swansby fields it. Steps on second to force out Beatty. Throws over to first. A jump throw to first. But it's a bad throw. It's high. So now we have Nimmo scoring in the fielder's choice. Alvarez comes around from second on the error. 5-0 Mets. Runners are on the corners, 2 outs. Brings up Jeff McNeil. And Taillon strikes him out on an 0-2 curveball. He attacked the bottom of the zone the entire bat, and that ends the third inning. So top of the 4th inning, the Mets now have a 5-0 lead. Holmes pitching to Kyle Tucker leading off for the Cubs. And Tucker drives a 1-1 sinker over the right center field fence, over a jumping Soto. Kyle Tucker's 10th home run of the season. This is now a 5-1 game. But Holmes gets right back on track. He gets Seiya Suzuki to swing and miss on a 1-2 slider, striking out for the first out. Michael Busch comes up, One away. He does line an 0-1 fastball past the diving Alonso into right field. He's busting out of the box. He makes it a double. Carson Kelly comes up, gets it to a full count, and Holmes has that sinker working. He gets Kelly to ground out to Beatty at third, who fires across the diamond to Alonso. 2 away. Bush has to hold at second. Brings up Pete Crow Armstrong. During the at-bat, there was a wild pitch by Holmes, advances Bush to third, so that Beatty was able to keep Bush at second on that ground ball, save the run. And Pete Crow Armstrong works the count to 2-2, but he flies out on a sweeper at the knees, right to Taylor in center field, and that's the third out. Bottom of the fourth inning, Taillon pitching to Tyrone Taylor leading off for the Mets. Taylor hits a 2-2 sweeper that only goes a few feet because he hit the cover off of it somewhat. The cover gets ripped off the ball some, not entirely. It's fielded by Taillon in front of the mound, tosses over to Bush at first. That's the first out. So it gets to the top of the lineup. Francisco Lindor now up. Taillon leads a 1-2 changeup up in the zone, and Lindor hits it well, but Tucker makes the play right at the fence for the second out. Off the bat, it appeared like it might have got out of the park, but he's just shy, let's say 2 feet. So that brings up Juan Soto. The count goes full. Taillon tries to run a fastball up and in on him, and Soto crushes it to right center field. Whatever Lindor was missing from his home run, Soto got that and much more. His third home run in his last 2 games, 8th home run of the season. I've been saying this for a while now. The Soto is typically a slow starter. He had been coming around of late, but it certainly looks like he's turned the corner and he's heating up. I think everyone can see it now, and if you can't see it, open your eyes. 6-1 Mets. Pete Alonso up. He falls behind, no balls, 2 strikes, with Taillon staying at the bottom of the zone against him. Then he comes back with a sweeper down, and Alonso pulls it down at third base line, kicks off the tarp in foul territory, back into play. Alonso pulls into second base, his 14th double of the season, brings up Brandon Nimmo with a runner in scoring position, 2 outs. Nimmo gets ahead of the count, 3 balls, 1 strike. He fouls one off. Then he grounds a curveball over the plate, right to Horner at second, tosses over to Bush at first, and that ends the 4th inning. Top of the 5th inning, Holmes pitching to Horner leading off for the Cubs, and Horner gets ahead of the count, 2 balls, 1 strike. He gets a belt-high sinker and flies out to Taylor in center field for the first out. So that brings up Dansby Swanson now for the Cubs. 1 out. Holmes walks him on 4 straight pitches. So now we have a runner on first. 1 out for Nicky Lopez. And Lopez hits a slow chopping grounder to second. Acuna fields it. He looks at second, but goes to first instead. Smart play, up 6-1. No reason to make that throw to second base. Looked like it would have been close, possibly Swanson being safe, and then you would have 2 runners on with 1 out. But, honestly, Swanson would be the second run scorer for the Cubs if he scores. We're up 6-1 at this point. Smart play is to go to first and get the sure out. Good job by Acuna. That brings up Ian Happ, runner in scoring position, 2 outs. And he grounds a changeup out of the zone, right to Alonso behind the bag. Alonso fields it, flips to Holmes covering, and that's the 3rd out. The Cubs go to the bullpen. Gavin Holloway now on in relief for Jameson Taillon. Francisco Alvarez leading off for the Mets. He works the count to 2 balls, 2 strikes, and Holloway gets him on swing and missing on a sweeper up and in, striking out for the first out of the inning. Brings up Brett Beatty, 1 out. Beatty falls behind, no balls, 2 strikes, and he pulls a sweeper at the bottom of the zone, right to Michael Bush, who takes it to the bag himself for the second out. So 2 outs, no one on, Luis Angel Acuna up, and he grounds a 1-2 sweeper, and it hits the mound, goes right up the middle, towards second base. Horner fields it, but with Acuna's speed, there's no chance to get him. So Acuna has an infield hit. Runner on first. 2 outs, brings up Jeff McNeil. Acuna takes off on the first pitch, a called strike, steals second base. His 10th stolen base of the season. Runners in scoring position now for McNeil. Count goes full, but he chases the fastball up and away, out of the zone, off the plate, striking out to end the 5th inning. Top of the 6th, and Clay Holmes gets the Cubs out in order, 3 up, 3 down. Kyle Tucker strikes out on an 0-2 changeup, down and away. Seiya Suzuki lines an 0-2 fastball at the top of the zone, right to Acuna at second for the second out. And then Michael Bush strikes out on a 1-2 changeup, down and away, and that retires the side. Cubs go to the bullpen again. Ryan Presley comes on in relief of Gavin Holloway in the bottom of the sixth. Tyrone Taylor leading off for the Mets. And Taylor pops up an 0-1 fastball up to Bush at first for the first out. Brings up Francisco Lindor. He falls behind 1 ball, 2 strikes. And he lines a slider at the bottom of the zone into right field for a base hit. So now you have Juan Soto up. You have Lindor at first. Soto gets ahead of the account. 3 balls, 1 strike. And then he walks. Pete Alonso up, runners on first and second, no one out. Alonso gets ahead, 2 balls, 1 strike. He chases a sinker inside, off the plate that evens the count to 2 balls, 2 strikes. So in this game, we're seeing a little bit undisciplined at the plate. Hopefully this does not continue and carry over and he kind of goes into a slump. But Presley catches him looking at a fastball in the outside corner. Second out, brings up Brandon Nimmo with 2 outs. Nimmo pops up a 1-1 inside fastball into foul territory, third base side. Nicky Lopez makes the catch, and that ends the 6th inning. Top of the 7th inning. Mets still leading this game 6-1. Clay Holmes is done for the day. Ryan Stanek comes on in relief. Stanek comes on and gets the Cubs out in order. 3 up, 3 down. Carson Kelly flies out to Taylor in center field for the first out. Pete Crow Armstrong swings and misses on a 1-2 98-mile-an-hour fastball in the outside corner. Second out. And then Nico Horner grounds out an 0-1 sweeper on the outside corner. Pulls it to Beatty at third. Fields it and fires across the diamond to Alonso. And that retires the side. Bottom of the 7th inning. The Cubs make another pitching change. They bring on the lefty Tom Cosgrove in relief of Ryan Presley. And Cosgrove gets the Mets in order. Francisco Alvarez grounds out on a 1-1 changeup down and away. Pulls it to shortstop. Dansby Swanson fields it. Fires over to Michael Bush at first. 1 away. Brett Beatty pops up. Carson Kelly pops up from behind the plate. Makes the catch. 2 away. And Luis Angel Acuna lines out to Tucker and right for the third out. And that ends the 7th inning. Top of the 8th inning. Daniel Nunez comes in the game. Nunez gets ahead of leadoff batter Dansby Swanson 0-2, and then he strikes him out on a slider down and away for the first out. Brings up Nicky Lopez, 1 out, and Nunez can't seem to find the plate. He walks Lopez on 4 pitches. The Cubs turn over their lineup, top of the lineup now. Ian Happ's up, runner on first, 1 out. Happ works the count full, fouls off 2 good pitches, but Nunez lets a fastball sail way high, out of the strike zone, ball 4. So back-to-back walks for the Cubs. Kyle Tucker up. The count goes to 2 balls, 2 strikes. Nunez goes to a changeup, but it's low. It's in the dirt. That brings the count full. Tucker fouls off a slider on the inner half of the plate. Nunez goes right back to that pitch, but locates it better. Down and in on the corner this time, and he gets Tucker to swing and miss. Big strikeout there. Second out. The Mets go to their bullpen. They bring on Reed Garrett. Runners on first and second, 2 outs to get 1 more out. And he gets Seiya Suzuki to fly out an 0-1 sweeper right to Taylor in center field, and that retires the Cubs in the top of the 8th inning. Tom Cosgrove still on the mound for the Cubs in the bottom of the 8th inning. Jeff McNeil due up. Since it's lefty on lefty, Mark Vientos comes in to pinch hit for him. Vientos grounds out to Swanson. First out of the inning. Brings up Tyrone Taylor. He works the count to 2 balls, 2 strikes. He pulls a slider down and away, right to Lopez at third, who fields it, fires across the diamond. 2 outs. So Francisco Lindor up, 2 outs. Cosgrove stays away from Lindor the entire at bat, working him outside. Lindor hits a slow chopper to short. It's cut off by Lopez, who fields it. He's throwing on the run to first, but it pulls Bush off the bag. It's a high throw. Lindor is safe. So now we have Lindor at first, 2 outs. Juan Soto up. Lindor takes off on the very first pitch. He steals second base without a throw. 5th stolen base of the year for Lindor. So now Lindor's in scoring position for Soto. 2-2 count. Soto lines an outside corner fastball right up the middle into center field. Lindor scores. RBI single for Soto. Mets now have a 7-1 lead. Brings up Pete Alonso, but he strikes out on an 0-2 fastball up and away, and that ends the 8th inning. Top of the 9th inning. Mets lead 7-1. Jose Butto comes on in relief of Reed Garrett. Leadoff batter for the Cubs is Michael Bush, and he lines a 1-1 changeup, 411 feet, right center field, over the fence. 7th home run of the season for Bush. Cubs get 1 back, It's now a 7-2 game. Vidal Brujan comes on to pinch hit for Carson Kelly, and Brujan strikes out on a 94-mile-an-hour fastball, 0-2 count, up and away for the first out. Brings up Pete Crow Armstrong. Budo gets ahead of him, 1 ball, 2 strikes, and he gives up a ground ball to the right side for a single. Now you have runner on first, Nico Horner up. Horner works the count to 2 balls, 2 strikes, and he chases a slider down and away, striking out for the second out. Brings up Dansby Swanson, the Cubs' last batter, the last hope. Budo throws a wild pitch. Pete Crow Armstrong moves over second base. The count goes full to Swanson, and he chases a slider down and away, striking out to end the game. The Mets lead this one from start to finish. They win 7-2. Let's get into the takeaways. The Mets' mayhem player of the game is going to go to Clay Holmes. Holmes threw 93 pitches, over 6 innings. He allowed 1 run on 3 hits. He walked 3 and struck out 5. He saved his best inning for last, the top of the 6th inning, getting the Cubs to retire in order. He picks up his 5th win of the season against 1 loss, and he lowers his season ERA to 2.74. Ryan Stanek threw another perfect inning, and again, I love bringing him in there when Mendoza did. The last game he was brought in, it was the 9th inning, I believe. Mets had a large lead. This time he's brought in a little bit early, where it still feels like the Cubs have a chance of coming back, and Stanek responds. I'm sure at some point, maybe even soon, the Mets may have a need for him in a higher leverage situation, but I like how he's being deployed now, getting some success and building confidence. The Mets are trying to do the same with Daniel Nunez. He had an uneven outing. He got the first batter out, then he walked the next 2, but he was able to come back, and he struck out Kyle Tucker for the second out. Perfect time to get him out of there and bring on Reed Garrett. It gets Nunez out of there on a positive note. He's clearly still a work in progress right now, something to build on. And Garrett does a great job getting the final out in the 8th inning, and he lowers his season ERA to a ridiculous 0.57. On the offensive end, Francisco Lindor, who's now alternating his walk-up songs between My Girl and Ain't No Mountain High Enough, went 3 for 5. He scored 2 runs. He led off the game for the 4th time this season for home run, his 8th home run of the season overall. His average is now just below 300 at 297. Juan Soto had another multi-hit game. He was 2 for 4. He scored a run, drove in a run, and drew a walk. He drove in 2 runs. He's now up to 268 in the season. Juan Soto had another multi-hit game. He was 2 for 4. He scored a run, drove in 2, drew a walk. He's now up to 268 in the season. Brett Baty went 2 for 4, including his 2nd home run of the season, a solo blast in the 2nd inning. Jeff McNeil also contributed his 2nd home run of the season in the 2nd inning as well, off of Jameson Taillon. He finished 1 for 3. The Mets stole 3 bases in this game. Taylor, Acuna, and Lindor each swiping 1. The Mets moved to 25-14 in the season. They dropped the Cubs to 22-17. Game 2 of this 3-game series is set for Saturday evening, 7:15 p.m. Eastern. Game time was pushed back to put it on national TV. It's on Fox. The Mets have Tyler McGill on the mound. McGill's 3-2. He has a 2.50 ERA in the season. The Cubs will be going with a bullpen game, and Brad Keller is going to be the opener for this game. He's likely to be followed by Cade Horton. I'll be back after the game to provide the recap as well as provide any other noteworthy Mets news. But until then, Met fans, let's go Mets.